This year for Christmas, I gifted myself stress because I decided to make my grandma a pair of earrings, fully knowing I've never made earrings this intricate before, so I knew I was going to have a rough time. And these weren't even the original design, so let's rewind and go back to the beginning to see how I ended up there. I decided to make the earring frame myself, so I started out with copper wire just as a tester, and I came up with this design with the 2 loops at the top. So now I'm going to make that same exact frame with gold-filled wire, and I'm using all gold-filled materials for this, so the flathead pins and the earring hooks. And for the earring frames, I decided to cut a little bit more than 4 inches to give myself a little bit more room. And I'm using a ring mandrel so I can get the perfect size at the bottom for both of the loops. And I wrapped it around the size 11, and here's both of them together. They look almost identical. And I cut the tops of them so that they're even, and here's the first loop. I decided to change the design a little bit so it's not open at the top, and so it just has 1 loop that goes to the jump ring. For the second one, I kind of messed up on this one, so I decided to redo it. And when I decided to redo the second frame, I made them almost identical, which is great. Now it's time to get into which beads I'm going to use in the design. Initially, I really wanted to incorporate these rose quartz hearts, but based on how I did the frames, they just weren't going to work. And then I also wanted to use rose quartz beads and freshwater pearl beads. And you can see here the design I was trying to go for. I really wanted the rose quartz hearts to sit in the middle, but my dreams were crushed and I had to move on to another design. So I looked through my thousands of beads that I have, and I found these watermelon tourmaline beads, which were perfect because my grandma loves anything colorful. And then I also incorporated a few gold-filled spacer beads as well. And I wrapped them around the frame 1 by 1 with gold-filled wire. And here's what the earrings look like so far in the sun. And you can see on the bottom the design I was going for. So here I decided to lay out the beads in the design that I wanted. Adding the dangly parts at the bottom was really going to bring this piece together. And here's where I decided to change the design a little bit more. I didn't like the jump ring in the center. So even though it was going to be a little bit more tedious, I decided to wire wrap them together instead of using a jump ring. And here's what the first earring looks like completed. And then I'm finishing up the wire wrapping for the other side. But even though this process takes a little bit longer, it makes the piece look a lot more put together and just more seamless, rather than having a bunch of jump rings in between each bead. And to add these little charms to the earrings, I had to wire wrap them around the earring, which was also tedious, but I love the outcome. And here's a little up close shot of that. And here's what the earrings look like completed, as you saw in the beginning. These are the first pair of intricate earrings I've ever made, and here's what they look like kind of on me. I don't have my ears pierced, so this is the best I can do. But I just love that the first pair of intricate earrings that I've ever made is going to my grandma. And she is an island girl. She's from Cuba, but she's also lived in Jamaica, so she just loves anything bright and colorful. And these are what they look like on my grandma. She loved them. Of course, she literally loves everything that I make, and literally tells me all the time that my creative side comes from her side of the family. But let me know what you think of my first pair of intricate earrings, and if I should start making earrings for my shop or even start making custom earrings for y'all.